Hill police officer Harry Dunn filed that lawsuit to stop that controversial Trump fund. He is now running for Congress in Maryland as a Democrat. Also with us, MS Now senior legal reporter Lisa Rubin.
What made you say, immediately, I need to file this lawsuit?
Well, a lot of people are surprised that this is happening. I really wasn't surprised. It's just a continuation of Donald Trump's assault that he started on January 6th. It's a continuation of that assault on the rule of law and on democracy. Also, if people were paying attention, this was a campaign promise that Donald Trump ran on. This isn't, he telegraphed this. This is coming. So for him to say he wasn't involved in the negotiations, it's kind of rich for him to say that, excuse me. But it's clear, one, we believe this is illegal. We believe that it also brings up some constitutional issues with the 14th Amendment being involved. But also just morally on the surface, this is wrong. This is taxpayer money. This money is coming from taxpayers. This isn't Donald Trump's personal wealth or even a GoFundMe account or, donations that people could set up, which they're allowed to do. Sure. This is taxpayer money. And the entire world saw what happened on January 6th. They don't need us sitting around this table to discuss and say what happened. You could just turn on the TV and watch what happened. And I guarantee majority of Americans are not in favor of rewarding the people that caused the damage that day.
Lisa Rubin, Officer Dunn just said he and his team believe that it's illegal, this fund, that it's unconstitutional. You are the lawyer amongst us. Talk a little bit about the legal aspects of this, because a lot of the American people have a lot of questions about how it came about and where we go from here.
Eugene, we don't have enough time for me to describe to you all of the ways in which this settlement fund is likely illegal. But one of the things I will say is, let's go back to one of the things that President Trump said about his involvement in this. I think somebody should ask the president whether Alejandro Brito and a gentleman named Daniel Epstein speak for him. They're counsel for the president, and they signed this settlement agreement as counsel to the plaintiffs here. That includes Trump and his two sons and their various companies. And so it's interesting to me to hear him say he had nothing to do with this. Did the lawyers who represent him sign this on his behalf without consulting him? That in and of itself would make it unlawful. But the other thing that's really problematic here is the fact that there is no adversity, right? This is a judge who said, I'm concerned about the fact that this isn't even a case over which I have jurisdiction. She asked for briefing from some expert lawyers around the country who said to her, indeed, there are legitimate concerns about whether you as a court have jurisdiction. And what did the administration do? They took steps to immediately withdraw and dismiss the lawsuit to deprive her of jurisdiction over this settlement fund. When the acting attorney general says that this settlement fund resembles one that was established by the Obama administration and a case designed to compensate Native American farmers for nearly 2 decades of discrimination, that could not be further from the truth, in part because a judge had oversight over that case, and all of the contours of the settlement fund were set up from the outset, including how much money people could recover, for what reasons they could recover it, and how they would justify and prove that they were entitled to be claimants. None of that has been done here, and instead, what this proposes is that the United States Treasury is going to transfer $1.8 billion to what looks to be a private account that then will be overseen by 5 appointees or designees of the Attorney General who can be removed at will by the president. This stinks to high heaven, to put it legally, Eugene.
That is, in fact, a legal term, I believe. Officer Dunn, it's very clear they want us to forget about what happened on January 6th or reimagine it to their liking. I am certain that you have not forgotten what happened on January 6th, but can we just play this video? Officer Hodges is in this video, just for those who may have forgotten. In your estimation, sir, how much of what they are doing is about rewriting what happened on January 6th, and how much of it is setting up a predicate and a permission structure for future elections?
I'm glad that you said that. It's both of those things. It's absolutely both of those things. Just as recently as January 6th of this year, the White House website put out a statement, or a website, if you will, blaming the Capitol Police blaming us for what happened that day. They're trying to rewrite history. They've been doing it since Donald Trump took office, or even before then. They've tried to do it over and over and over again. And unfortunately, that's where we continue have to be pulled into this and stand into it. It also, like you said, it gives them a permission structure. Listen, when Donald Trump granted the pardons to the officers, that forgave them. They were forgiven. You committed violence in my name. You defended me. You defended my honor. You are forgiven and wipe the slate clean. Now, with this slush fund, this also it rewards them for doing violence in Donald Trump's name. And also with that reward becomes an incentive to do it over and over again, because they're sitting here saying, oh, not only are we forgiven, but we're going to be rewarded for this violent behavior. And I think that's a slap in the face to all of the American people.
I do think it is important to put this on the table. The point I made in the chat that we had at the top about the fact that officers like Harry have not been federally compensated. Jamie Raskin has put forth a Law Enforcement Heroes Compensation Fund Act, and he introduced this on May 13th. Here's the thing. And I think, and Lisa, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I think we need to talk about this very specifically. There has been no piece of legislation that created this pot of money that the president and his attorney general are talking about. There is no executive order that is legal that could create, like, the pot of money is coming from the taxpayers. The taxpayers, our money, the appropriations happens to Congress. And so when Officer Dunn says this is illegal, I just, where are they getting the money from? So I think everybody is complicit here, Lisa, because it's not just what Todd Blanche did in signing that memo. Who at Treasury is authorizing the disbursement of these funds? Is that someone that could have some legal liability if there's some real looking under the hood on this come 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 months from now?
That's certainly possible. But one of the things, Simone, that I think is sort of underreported about this is that the source of money is something called the Justice Fund. And where the money comes from is when people settle litigation or are forced to pay monies into the federal government as a result of losing litigation with the government. This is that pot of money. It is a sum of money that has never been appropriated. And in fact, no department money is being used here. They're going to this Justice Fund. But that doesn't mean that Congress can't do what Congressman Raskin is trying to do.
Lisa, I don't want to interrupt you, but I just want to make sure I'm understanding, because you said settlements. This is a fund of settlement funds. This is not a lawsuit that was settled. It was a lawsuit that was dismissed. So is this legal for them to be going into this pot of money? There was no settlement. So I'm confused.
Yeah, no, Simone, this is a pot of money that exists because of other settlements or judgments that have been obtained in the name of the United States. Obviously not the settlement of this case, which was done unofficially. But I think one of the things Congress can do is they control the purse. You are absolutely right. And not only was there not an appropriation here, but Congress can put its foot down and do what Congressman Raskin has proposed, which is to prohibit any outlay of money from this pot of money in the United States Treasury to be devoted for this purpose. The one other thing I want to note, because Harry is too classy to do so, is that he and dozens of other officers and people who were injured on January 6th, including members of Congress, have a series of lawsuits that have been percolating in federal courts for more than 5 years. And they have been stymied in litigating that case at every turn by one President Donald J. Trump, who insists that he should be civilly immune from that litigation. So on one hand, you've got a group of people who were injured, including visibly injured, as Alicia was just showing you in that tape, on January 6th, who have been waiting for more than 5 years to recover from defendants in their lawsuit. And at the same time, some of those very defendants will, in a series of weeks, be able to make claims from that anti-weaponization fund. That's perverse.
Officer Dunn, I want to play for you what Jamie Raskin of Maryland said today at Capitol Hill about there not being retaliatory prosecutions, and get your reaction on the other side.
Not a single J6er has had charges thrown out because of a false, malicious, or retaliatory prosecution. Not a single one has had their criminal conviction reversed on appeal because of a false, malicious, or retaliatory prosecution. False, malicious, and retaliatory prosecutions are how Donald Trump and his DOJ operate, not real law enforcement, not real prosecutors.
Today, he also introduced the No Taxpayer-Funded Settlement Slush Funds Act of 2026. It does not exactly roll off the tongue, but it does, I think, what we are talking about, which is making sure that this doesn't happen. It's probably not going anywhere. Democrats are poised to probably take the House. You are running for Congress. Yourself, What do you want done on day one when it comes to an issue like this?
Well, first of all, kudos to Jamie Raskin. I think he sets the bar of what Democrats should be doing, is fighting back, not just talking or sending strongly worded emails. I think he's doing a fantastic job. But I would love to be on the Oversight Committee because they can't run from subpoenas. And we're seeing that this Congress under Mike Johnson has basically punted their co-equal powers and just saying they're being a rubber stamp for Donald Trump. So that stops here. Congress needs to be the one that actually can put their foot down against this corrupt administration. So being able to stop that. They got so much money, like you said, Simone, for all these things, but they can't fund SNAP. They can't fund health care. They can't fund the Obamacare subsidies. They are wasteful spending. They're spending billions of dollars on an illegal war. And another thing, sorry, to go back, you said officers should be getting this money. We're not asking for money. Right. And if you look at this suit, we're not asking for money. We're asking for it to be stopped. They're grifting and asking for money. I'm out there asking for people's votes. They not like us.